Well, we're off to the Forest City Playground, the Market Lane Murals, 139 Dundas Street. These were created in 2019. And this is a great place to come because it is highly accessible. It's open to everybody. And it's a wonderful place to come and explore with your eyes and with your mind, because there's a lot of metaphor and symbolism in these artworks. 3 artists, Hawlii, Pichette, Meaghan Kehoe, and Stephanie Boutari were invited by Downtown London Business Association and Tourism London to create a series of murals based on the Carolinian forests of southern Ontario. And the interesting thing is, while this is a very nature-based sort of theme, each mural in their own way make reference to or are inspired by elements of the surrounding architecture. So the first and the last murals were painted by Pichette, whose practice includes beadwork and installation, and which draws from her First Nations background. So as a beadworker, she developed an interest in representing stylized floral patterns. And as a mural artist, in this case, she aimed to design a mural that reflected the symmetry of the brick while also complementing the architecture of the space. So there's quite an interesting kind of dichotomy going on there.
Yeah, and it also gives it that grid line look, really nice and clean, yes.
Yeah, kind of following just exactly with the brick. In an interview with Pichette, she said, and I quote, "I strive to create a space that was fun, bright, inviting, and playful. I wanted this to be a space for people to engage with art through selfies and to capture their imaginations. The birds in the mural are commonly spotted in London backyards." So Amsa, do you know what birds are featured in her mural?
Hopefully, because I have seen like cardinals and blue jays in my backyard, but there are also robins, chickadees, and nuthatches as well.
Lucky guess.
Lucky guess, yes.
But you are correct. You are correct. The second mural is a kind of symbolic coming-of-age piece. The central figure is a portrait of a relative of the artist and represents a kind of transition from youth to adulthood as someone making sense of their past and planning their future. Kind of reminiscent of the theme here. Kehoe said that her relative was wise beyond her years, and that is why she painted a metaphorical representation of an eastern screech owl from the Carolinian forest. And it looks completely fascinating. The detail work on that is stunning. You also know swallows are in this painting, so there's a real kind of bird theme going on here. Swallows make their home in the Carolinian forest and are prominently featured in this mural. They have several popular symbolic representations, one of them being rebirth or new beginnings. And historically, a little known fact, sailors used to have swallows tattooed to their necks to signify how far they've traveled. So in this sense, the swallows kind of symbolize a coming home or a return. And then we have the monarch butterfly, which again is also represented just beautifully. I think Kehoe's spray painting talent is amazing. So the butterfly has this kind of, has come to symbolize the transformations and long journeys. And then the black oak leaves symbolize the wisdom of nature, which accumulates through time, essentially. You'll notice too that the sky is red and the sun is low, and that's depicting either a sunrise, a new beginning, or a sunset, a kind of conclusion or a resolution. So to me, this artwork connects with the space because it was created at a time when they had basically opened up Market Lane. They had created Market Lane. So they added these murals to help to create the space, essentially, which is now a space of converging, of gathering, of music, of entertainment. And there's also, it's very lively in the summer. So it's a real interesting way to connect to the activation of the space.
Yeah, and it also kind of ties to the theme of metamorphosis as well on its own too, with the fact that we're not sure if the sun is setting or rising, but it's moving definitely it's moving it's moving throughout time. Also with the person that was depicted as well, someone coming of age, with the monarch butterfly too. All of these things kind of show and also represent that space itself, because the space continually changes and morphs into what is being needed at that point in time. And it's just a beautiful space to experience and all. And yeah, with that, let's move on to the next one, which is Boutari's work. Now, Boutari studied architecture, and we can see a pervasive architectural sensibility in the composition of her mural itself. So, for example, you would notice that the abstracted trees create a very strong vertical presence, but there are also little wedges that you would notice in between all of them, and this helps in breaking this up a little bit. You would also notice that there is a big X that is made to imply opposing diagonal lanes running from one corner to the other, also giving movements to the whole piece itself.
So Amsa, what do these formal qualities that you just talked about, what do they do? What do they do for the painting? What do they do for the viewer?
I think Boutari basically wanted one to feel like they're walking through the forest, like having a nature bath on its own. And that was what she was trying to convey with all of those lines. It's something that she does on her own. She enjoys forest walks, and this was her own way of pulling or bringing the forest to us, basically, and to anyone that goes into the space itself.
Yeah, the ability for an artist to create illusionistic space is something that I find to be really captivating and really, really interesting, because it's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Oh, no.
But Boutari makes it look actually very, very simple.
Very simple. Yeah. And yeah.
Another part about this mural that I really like is there's this big, bold, stylized representation that actually looks like a tag, but it's representations of tree species of the Carolinian forest. So Amsa, can you guess which species these are?
Well, I would go back to Boutari's list, and she has the eastern redbud, the tulip tree, and also the flowering dogwood as well. Unfortunately, I still don't know my trees just yet, but I will at some point in time.
Well, see, we're all learning something too,
Yes.
which is great. Public art can teach us all kinds of things. So I actually had a chance to talk to Boutari a little while ago, and I asked her what she hoped the viewer would get out of this mural. And she said that at a basic level, I hope that it uplifts people's moods, and that on the level of art appreciation, I hope that people take the time to stop and examine how I painted it. And at a level of inspiration, I hope people take the time to learn about the Carolinian forest. So I would say mission accomplished.
Yes, yeah. At least I know a tulip tree now when I see one. Hopefully.